The next presentation is the auto-captioning system.
Hello, I'm Pavan Dubey, and I'm part of the Auto-Captioning system group, along with Johnny Jenkins and Michael Mendenhall, who worked on a lot of the technical aspects with me, and Ashwin Allen and Chelsea Swan, who did a bulk of the research and documentation. So the goal of our project was to develop a captioning system to integrate the hearing impaired into the theater environment. Theaters right now are noticing a rapid decline of hearing impaired users going to see these live performances because of a lack of accommodations. Right now in operas, they use little displays in front of the screen in front of you that will display the translation, but the two things about that is it's a translation, so a one-to-one is not necessary, and an opera is typically a lot slower than a live play. So Dr. Linda Thibodeau came to us, and she had a solution that they had been using, which was a laptop that ran Adobe Reader, which is on the top, and there's a helper behind them manually scrolling along with the play. And if the hearing impaired user missed something, then they would communicate with the helper would move up and down. And about efficiency, there would be one helper required per laptop per 2 users. So 2 users would be sharing the laptop. We wanted to make the system more efficient in 2 major aspects. One, personability, having each user have their own device so they don't have to share one, and if someone's on a different level than the person next to you, then they can go at their own pace. And 2, in terms of efficiency, in terms of resources, because having one helper for every 2 users, with 2 or 4 people, that's 2 people, but you scale that up, and that's a lot of helpers. So we wanted to reduce the amount of helpers as much as possible, and the way we did that was a web-based solution. We used a Node.js server, and on that server, we had a helper client, and we had a hearing impaired client. And the helper client pushed messages that said the current line to all of the user clients, and it would update on all the user screens. And as soon as the helper pushes that, all the screens update, and the hearing impaired user has the ability to scroll up and down, change the size of the text, and if they want, once they catch up or they want to go back, they can turn on the automation mode where the helper's pushing them their signals. In the future, what we're trying to do is work on a signal processing based approach to fully automate this captioning system to utilize harmonics. Everybody has their own harmonic, and so we want to be able to determine each individual actor's, to be able to tell one line from the next and to automate the whole process. But the most important part of this is actual hearing impaired user feedback. So over the next 3 weeks, we have 2 sessions, one with 6 and one with 10 hearing impaired users, to go see the play Memphis at Dallas Summer Musicals for the SciArc conference that one of the previous groups mentioned. And so we will be taking them, and they'll be using our product, telling us what they want fixed from a user's perspective, and so we can help bring back hearing impaired users inside the theater environment. Are there any questions?
To that point, did you do any surveys on users and what they would like to see?
So we worked, like I mentioned, we worked very closely with Dr. Linda Thibodeau at the Collier Center, and she told us what hearing impaired users would like to see and would not like to see, because she has extensively worked with them, and we adapted to all of that. But over the next 2 weeks, on May 16th and the 24th, we will have the two trials that I mentioned, and we will hopefully get firsthand experience, feedback on what we need to change, what we need to make it better.
What experience do any of you guys have in terms of the technology that exists in theaters or at performance?
Well, currently, beyond on, so we understand how the sound systems and all that works, but as for the hearing impaired technologies,
No, I'm not talking hearing impaired, but just specifically technology that exists in terms of, for example, lighting control systems that would cue scene changes, or the fact that all of the actors use radio mics, individual radio mics. So, what experience and what research have you done on what potentially you would be able to plug into to make the solution work?
For the current accommodations that are there right now, we did talk about captive view, which is for each individual. I've experienced at the Opera House downtown Dallas that there are the translations on the very top of the play. So, but everybody is forced to see it. So that's what we were trying to do, something closed caption, so that if you want to, you can, and then you don't have to go up to the counter and get a special device to, with captive viewing, you're able to stroll it yourself and turn it off if you want whenever you want.
I understand that from the project, that's been well explained. What I'm asking is that link into the existing data technology.
so that link you're talking about, we are somewhat familiar with what they use, but the system that what we're developing for is mainly for users that have too far hearing loss to where they have to rely on somebody else for what's happening, and so that's why.
It's all right, I'll see you guys in the first 2 months.
Other questions?